welcome back to Talk Wordy, my hub for all of the words that I read, write, or otherwise want to yap about. Today, I have another amazing, incredible author guest on the pod. She's a Florida-based romance and romantasy author that writes stories with big feelings that tug at the heartstrings. And her latest book, Of the Stars and Sea, is the fantastical world of Pirates of the Caribbean meets the epic treasure hunting of the mummy. Hello. Please welcome Brianna Remus to the show. Brianna, welcome to Talk Wordy.
Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here. I think we're going to have such a great time tonight.
I was already kind of talking to you during like pre-recording, and I was like, oh, the vibes are good.
Immaculate.
Absolutely immaculate. I was coming from like not like the worst day of work, but just lousy. It's cold
hmm
outside. I was like, I just need a good pick me up. And as soon as I saw your face pop up on screen, I was like, oh, we're set.
It's going to be so fun. Yeah, no, I felt the same exact way coming off of like a really strenuous word count goal. And then now I get to chit chat about all the things I love. So it's going to be so fun.
No, I'm so thrilled. So, why don't we just go ahead and get into it with my guests? I like to kind of debrief everybody on what we're reading, watching, and listening to. I
Yeah.
will let you do the honors first. What are you reading right now?
So I'm actually buddy reading Red Rising with my best friend Ashley. And I've heard so many incredible things about this book. And let me tell you, I am invested, and it's only chapter four. And usually it takes me a little bit longer to get into characters and the plot. But this one, I'm like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? I'm so nervous and honestly petrified. But it has been so much fun. And I am just really in awe of Pierce's writing. I think it's really interesting and engaging. So it's new for me. I'm not really a sci-fi girl, but it's really good. I'm loving it.
I was just about to say, because I've heard like I don't know how heavy sci-fi, but they always
hmm
throw around sci-fi. And
Yes.
I have been so curious about it. So if you love it, do let me know. Obviously, it sounds
Yes.
like you're already enjoying it.
Yeah.
I've heard nothing but good things. Like every time he releases another book, I feel like I hear 10 more people in my social circle just like chomping at the bit to
hmm
read it. So
Yeah.
that's awesome. As far as me, completely opposite end of the spectrum, I am reading slash audiobooking Good Spirits by BK Borison.
Cute.
It is my book club's December pick, and
Nice.
my book club is in like 5 days, so I have to hurry. But I have one of my closest friends in book club. She is like a BK Borison ride or die, and
Mm,
so I just know that if I don't read this book, she's never gonna let me live it down. Uh,
yeah.
so I'm doing my best. I'm also like not the biggest Christmas book reader, but
hmm
I've been better about reading Christmas books this year.
Yeah.
Wild, out of character. I like it. This might be my last Christmas read for the year, though. Which is, I don't
That's
know.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not normally a holiday book reader either, but one of my favorites is actually a novella by Candy Steiner. I think it's just called Christmas Blanket, and it is spicy, second chance, like rugged, kind of out in the woods, mountain man type of guy, and I was here for it. So that's another, and it's really quick. I think it's only like 55,000 words, so
Oh yeah.
not too long. Yeah, but that one was really fun.
If I was behind on my Goodreads goal, immediately.
Yes.
You were like in the mountains, spicy second chance, and like internally, like I was having that Grinch smile where his
Oh yeah.
goes all the way up
Just
to
gross.
here. Okay, now let's talk about watching. I'll kick this one off because typical me, I feel like I've been talking about this every single podcast I've been like interviewing a guest for, and that's Stranger
Yeah.
Things. Stranger Things,
Okay.
Volume 1 of Season 5 has dropped
Nice.
since the last time I recorded, and um I can't stop thinking about it. I'm actually going to do a rewatch probably starting tomorrow because I'm not quite doing a full scale pod miss this year because it's my
Okay.
first year and my work schedule will be cray cray. But what I'm gonna try and do is do like Chris minis, like little mini
Mhm.
episodes scattered throughout the month. And one of
I
them
love
is
that.
one of them's a Stranger Things debrief, by volume, including the finale. I
Mhm.
don't know how I'm gonna do like a day turnaround for the finale, but we'll see how that goes. But I have so many thoughts and opinions on season five. Are you a Stranger Things person? Have you seen it?
So don't come for me, you guys, but I started season one with my husband. We watched, I think, through season one when it first came out, and then we just fell off. We have both like been starting our own businesses, and so we're very like weird about the shows that we watch, and we're intentional about going back to watch it, but we're kind of in that place where if all the seasons aren't out, then we kind of don't watch because we'll literally binge an entire weekend, even if it's 4 or 5 seasons long. So that's probably what we're going to do whenever it's all wrapped up. But it's
Yeah,
definitely on the to-do list.
I love that. Out of context spoiler, you will not get it. But I think for all of my listeners who loved Stranger Things Volume 1, can we please, probably my favorite scene is Mr. What's It? And then just the pan to the other side of the room. I feel like even if you haven't watched the show, it's popped up on TikTok.
Yeah,
That is one of the funniest moments in the entire show, like this entire series, and it's just nonstop up here and like replaying in my noggin.
that's
Um,
so funny.
but yeah, all I've been watching is Stranger Things.
Mhm.
So, what about you? What have you been watching?
So I have to like shut off my brain because like I was telling you before we started recording, I'm on like rapid pace finishing a deadline and then about to jump right into another one in January. So I've just been vegging on reality TV. So I just finished what is it called? The Secret Lives of Mormon
Yes!
Wives. Yes,
Yes!
it's like such trash TV and I'm here for it. These girls give me so much life and like I have minimal drama in my personal life. Like I really try to cultivate a peaceful environment. And so as a Scorpio, I'm like, give it to me. Like these girls are giving me so much life. Um, so yeah, I actually just finished watching the podcast with Jessie and her husband on the Vile Files. And
Mm.
so that was really interesting to watch their dynamic. But yeah, I love those girls. I love the show. It's so fun and so trashy, and I love it.
So you're caught up. You've seen all of it.
I have except the reunion, I think comes out
Yes.
Thursday.
It
Yes.
comes out like the
Yep.
4th or something. I will be
Yep.
sad. Phone
Oh
on Do
yeah.
Not Disturb.
Yep.
I'm
Same.
so thrilled. I'm curious, do you have a favorite Mormon wife?
Oh man, I kind of really love Jessie. I'll be honest with you. Like, I know obviously a lot of this season was highlighting her mistakes and her difficulties in her marriage, but I love someone who has built the way that she's built her empire, I think is so admirable. And I think I don't know, she seems pretty level headed for the most part. But yeah, I really like her. And Taylor is just like fun. She's the kind of girl that I feel like you could just shoot the shit with. Ooh, can I say that?
No, you're fine. Go ahead
Okay.
and let it rip.
Yeah, so I think she's really fun too. Some of the other girls I'm like, they're a little boring, but yeah.
Okay. I'm a Macy girl until I
Love.
die. I love Macy because maybe it's because I relate the most to her, so maybe it's
Yeah.
a little narcissistic, but especially this season, like seeing her just not give a damn
Yeah.
about Jordan, like that whole barbecue
Yes.
scene. Oh my God, she's like, I already have to deal with annoying women. If you think I'm gonna be
Yep.
passive about
She was
annoying men,
savage. Yeah.
loved her. She just the
Yep.
I'm too pregnant for this mentality. I
Yep.
love her. And then back in the day, I really loved Jen. I
Yeah.
understand Jen now, but like
Yep.
I'm so like disappointed because she's
Yeah.
definitely not a favorite anymore. Like I don't hate her at all.
Hmm.
But man, I don't know if you're a Dancing with the Stars person. I love
I'm
Dancing with
not.
the Stars and
Okay.
Whitney. I
I heard she
I
crushed it.
I will follow Whitney into battle. It makes me want to go rewatch seasons 1 and 2 and be
Yeah.
like, oh, she like it really wasn't that deep, you know?
Yeah,
Like
I
I feel
think
like I'm gonna
Whitney,
forgive her for a lot of things.
yeah, and I feel like Whitney is one of those people who's like very transparent. She says exactly like what's on her heart sleeve. And the other girls too do as well, like especially Taylor will be
Oh
very
yeah.
confrontational. And I don't know why Whitney isn't given the same grace for those moments as like Taylor is. And I have a theory about that. Um, just like a psychological theory. But yeah, I think I feel sad for her that she didn't get the same grace that a lot of these other girls have gotten within the friend group itself. Um, yeah, I like her a lot too. She definitely grew on me, and I think um just their whole dynamic is really interesting. And yeah, like I said, all of my friends and I, for the most part, are like good to go. So we have no friend drama or anything. So I'm like living vicariously
Oh
through these
yeah,
girls.
absolutely. And speaking of Whitney, word on the street, hot off the press, she got a starring role in Chicago.
No,
You didn't know? Oh my
I
gosh, I thought
didn't.
I was recapping. Oh my
That's so
gosh.
exciting. I
Yeah,
did
so
not hear that.
so after Dancing with the Stars, and this is something that two other past contestants on the show have done, Ariana
Mhm.
Madix being one of them, if
Yes.
you've seen Vanderpump Rules.
Hmm.
After their stint on Dancing with the Stars, they are either scouted or they use
Hmm.
that kind of platform to audition for
Wow.
Broadway or like off-Broadway entertainment.
Good
And
for her.
Whitney actually has a degree in modern dance, so
Yep.
she's technically stellar.
Yep.
And so she auditioned for Roxy Hart, and she has a six
Wow.
week stint starting February 2nd, February 6th, early February. It's a six
Okay.
week stint and it starts in early February. And
Wow.
if I had the means, I would go. I would go
Oh,
see.
I would for sure. I think she's going to put on a hell of a show. Like, I think that's so
Absolutely.
amazing. Yeah, good for her, man. That's so cool.
The like the actual poster, like the pictures of her in the
Hmm.
costume. Oh my gosh.
Oh, good. All right, now I need
So
to Google
good.
this after.
Yeah, she's a stunner. Okay. And so therefore, let's get into our listening section.
Yes.
I have been listening, therefore, to the Chicago soundtrack. I'm a big
Hmm.
musical theater dork. But also, um, I have been listening to a ton of, like, oddly enough, Hall and Oates music, like
Oh, okay.
like kind of dad rock music, which
I
I
love
gotta
it.
stop calling it dad rock because it's my music too. It's sibling rock.
Claim
But
it.
yeah, I the Stranger Things Instagram or someone
Hmm.
affiliated with Stranger Things posted like the cast pictures as like 80s Polaroids or something. And they
Okay.
posted it to a Hall and Oates song, and I was like, man, I haven't heard this in a while. Let me cue this up. And then before you know it, I was listening to like their greatest hits. And
I love it.
yeah, I'm a big Hall and Oates girl now, currently.
That's amazing.
What about you? What have you been listening to?
Yeah, so I have been on a Hosier kick. I listen to him constantly. It's kind of a problem. My husband's like, all right, you have a love affair going on. Like, you need to figure this out. And also Tommy Prophet. So they are an indie artist and they collaborate with like a ton of other incredible vocalists. And so on Of the Stars and Seas playlist is like a ton of Tommy's music, which is amazing. So if you don't know who that is, I highly recommend listening to them. Yeah, all of their songs are like just so good. So good. Yeah, so those two I have on constant repeat on my Spotify.
Incredible taste.
Yes.
Taste. Um, I have to ask. So, Hosier, have
Yes.
you
Oh,
read,
Hosier.
have you,
Oh,
did you not say Hosier? Am I tripping?
no, I said Hosier. Okay, I
And
think
we
I'm pronouncing
pronounced them
it wrong.
differently? Oh, okay, listen. It's probably me, okay? Because I'm a
It's,
local. I'm a
it's
local.
probably
It's
me.
probably Hosier, but I say Hosier.
Maybe it's regionally different. Okay. Maybe it's like different regions pronounce it differently. And he's probably okay with it. He's like a fluid guy. So,
Yeah. Well, at
yeah.
first, that's actually not the question I was going to ask. I wasn't asking about pronunciation because for a second I was like, did I just like not hear the right artist that she was talking about? My actual question, my question was, so you love spicy romance, you write spicy
Yeah.
romance. I have to know, have you heard of or have you read If Not for My Baby by Kate Golden?
No, no. What is this?
Babe, lock in. It is a Hosier inspired like rock star romance.
Shut up.
Dude,
Shut up.
it is one of my spoiler for a future episode that I'm going to do this month. It is probably one of my favorite books of the entire year, hands down. 5-star book. I got 5-star tingles on page 1. Like
Oh my gosh.
truly her her writing in that book was she was in her bag. Because normally
Oh.
she has 3 romantasy books
Mhm.
and then she popped in and wrote this one. I think this was her first contemporary book. She ate down. I
Oh my
highly
gosh.
recommend it. If not for my baby, like it's got the songwriting aspect, it's got the spice. Oh, it's so
Immediate
good.
TBR. Immediate. Like
Immediate.
I need to download that right now.
If I could influence you to read anything, it's going to be that one. So,
Okay, perfect. I'm so excited. I have never read a rock star contemporary romance before. So
this is a
I'm
good one.
very excited about this. You're going to pop my cherry.
I know, okay, if it's not out already,
Yeah.
there's an audiobook coming too, and I'm telling
Okay.
you, the Irish accent.
Hello.
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 I read it on paper because God wouldn't let me turn into the monster I would become if I read it audiobook.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, but it's probably gonna get reread if when the audiobook comes out, if
As
it's
you
not already
should.
out.
Yes.
No, it's so good. I had to drop that in there. I had to recommend it to you.
I'm so excited.
I feel like you would be like the perfect target audience for
Oh
it.
yeah, 100%.
Okay, speaking of target audience, I am your target audience because
Thank you.
hello, can we talk about Of the Stars and Sea? I
Yes.
haven't gotten to get all the way through it, but when I was stalking your website, as I do, listen, me and an author's website,
I love
we're in
it.
a committed relationship. I love websites are hard to manage from one author to another. I'm like, I'm
Yep.
gonna go give their website some traffic. I'm
I
gonna
appreciate
be
that.
all up in there. And as soon as I was like, it's pitched as Pirates of the Caribbean and The
Hmm.
Mummy.
Yep.
The
Yep.
Mummy was a formative experience, but also like,
Same.
Jack Sparrow. Okay, but I want to learn more about like the inspirations behind this book, like your journey, especially
Yeah.
'cause it sounds like, correct me if I'm wrong, this was your first romantasy. This was your first like step
Yes.
out of the contemporary romance world. Tell
Hmm.
me a little bit about like your inspiration for the book, the journey that you went on from like the idea and then putting it on the page and
Yeah.
self-publishing, just anything you want to share about that.
I love this. So I have written a total of 9, almost 10 books now. And so the second book that I ever wrote was actually kind of this hodgepodge fanfic of Lord of the Rings meets ACOTAR. And so I do have experience writing in fantasy romance, but it was a dumpster fire and not publishable by any stretch of the imagination. So I didn't start publishing until my Falling for You trilogy, which is just like secret billionaire romance. And that was inspired by some real life events that I had experienced. And I think it was a really great introduction for me to write from a point of view that felt really familiar.
Hmm.
And then I had this like really crazy complex where I felt like I was not adequate to write fantasy after the dumpster fire that was the second book I ever wrote. And so I wrote 6 contemporary books. And then I finally felt like my craft was honed well enough to do fantasy romance the justice it deserved. And I have, gosh, like 4 or 5 different fantasy romance ideas. I'm one of those kind of like idea mills where my phone is literally just filled with different book ideas. I'm very fortunate in that way. But stories always come to me through visions. And I have this vision of this female, fierce pirate captain with the big hat on in the pirate quarters overlooking a treasure chest. And she could not find what she was looking for in the chest. And so that's how the idea originated. That scene actually never made it into the final copy of the book, but that's where it started. And so kind of my writing process is I get the vision in my head, I let it marinate for a little bit. I'll take like notes in my phone as, time goes on, and then I'll start with like music playlists and vision boards on Pinterest. But at that time, I had 3 to 4 different fantasy romance ideas that were in the works or at some stage of development. And I was telling my husband, I said, I really don't know which one I should write first. And I had such an anxiety ridden experience figuring out which one to engage in.
Mm-hmm.
And so, total transparency, my husband smoked a lot of pot and he spoke to the universe. And he's gonna die that I'm telling this story. And he was like, "What should my wife work on?" And he kept coming back to pirates. And this is actually a really spiritual moment because he's not the only one in my life. Like when I told my grandma about the idea, and she's very spiritual and in tune as well. She was like, "I don't know, Brianna, I just have a feeling that this pirate story is going to be the one that changes your life." And we'll get into it, I'm sure, in the future, but it did. And so I don't know, like a switch turned on in my brain. And in the midst of burnout by like following a lot of market trends, I was like, I need to write something that is just for me. And so I was really hungry for 2 things. One is that really fun, a little bit campy action adventure romance that we saw in the late 90s, early 2000s with
Yeah.
pirates and the mummy and all of that. And then I was also really at a turning point in my reading experience where I felt like there weren't a lot of romantasy books out there that represented someone my age. I'm 35 years old. And listen, I'm here for the Feyres of the world and the 19-year-olds who kick ass, like good for them. But also, I wanted to bring an FMC to this space who was really well versed in herself, who was worldly, who had seen stuff and had really um, a wide range of experiences, who wasn't in the space where she's coming into herself or coming of age. I wanted her entrenched in who she was and then facing outside obstacles. So then it was born and I just couldn't stop writing it. I actually drafted it really, really quickly, like 3.5 months, and it's
Wow.
122,000 words. So
Ooh, that's a
yeah, it
book.
was like a fever dream. Yeah. So I just wrote it so quickly.
That's awesome. Oh my
Thank you.
gosh. Yeah, 122,000 is what you said?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's listen, I like big books and I cannot lie. Um, but oh my gosh.
She's
In
thick.
3.5 months. That's
Yeah.
bonkers to me. So, do you have any, I mean, not advice necessarily, but like, what can you share about your writing process to where
Yeah.
drafting a book that large in such little
Hmm.
time, like, was it something that was strenuous to you? Was that something that
Hmm.
came naturally? Obviously, you said like you just couldn't stop writing. Like,
Yeah.
what's, is there anything in your writing process that you think lent to such easy idea generation?
Yeah, so I think one, the idea had marinated for multiple years, and I really take a lot of time in the beginning stages, like creating the playlist, getting the mood board, doing the character arc development. So I knew exactly where the characters were going to go. And then I also highly recommend, especially for fantasy romance people, the craft book called The Fantasy Fiction Formula. It's down there on my shelf, and it really helps you to identify the core statement of your book, so to speak. So I did that for every book that's going to be in this series. So I knew the main points of what was going to be happening. But I think one of the biggest things that's been helpful is my history of being very strategic because I started writing when I was getting my doctorate in clinical psychology. So I am a licensed psychologist. And I was very busy, obviously. I was in the middle of residency and I wrote 4 books during that time. So I had to make sure every writing session was intentional. And I did that by creating a 3 act structure outline through Save the Cat Writes a Novel.
Mhm.
And then from there, I would take that and I would zone in even further and do chapter by chapter outlines, even just 2 to 3 sentences. So every time I sit down, I know what the characters are doing, I know the main point of the chapter. And that practice was really helpful for me um, to write not only quickly, but intentionally. And then I think the other thing that really helps a lot is meditation. Like if I'm ever stuck or if I'm having trouble getting through something, I will put on my playlist and it's very angsty, honestly. If anyone recorded me doing this, I look like a troubled teenager, but I'm laying in my office floor and I have the playlist on. Sometimes I'll scroll through my Pinterest board and I'll just meditate on the scene. And that often breaks me through any type of barrier. Instead of just like staring at the blank page,
Yeah.
getting, anxiety ridden by not being able to write anything. And then once that happens, then it flows pretty easily. But I have a solid roadmap outlined for me and able to for me to be able to get to that point where I can write quickly and efficiently.
I'm gonna have to try that. I love,
Yeah.
for some reason, I love the phrase like going method. And I feel like,
Hmm.
especially like if you put your headphones on and you shut your eyes and you lay on the floor to
Yep.
where you have no choice but to insert yourself into the scene,
Yeah.
I, I feel like that would cure the worst writer's block. And it would be kind of
Works
fun.
every time.
I'm definitely gonna try that. Um, I'm actually like writing for the first time in like a month. Instead of doing any
Yeah.
kind of November writing challenge, I took
Hmm.
the entire month of November off from writing. And it was very bizarre.
Yeah.
And now I can't get back into it. So I think that's going to be like my submersion technique.
Yep.
I will report back. I will
Yeah.
report back and tell
Please
you how that
do.
goes.
Yeah, it works
Okay.
for me every time. And I think, like I said, staring at that blank page or just the inertia of getting started feels like there's a wall between you and that. And so if you just take the pressure off and you just sit with the story, I'm telling you, it's my golden nugget. I hope it works for you too.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big music person, so
Yeah.
I bet it will. And speaking of which, if you had to summarize your playlist for Of the Stars and Sea
Hmm.
to 3 songs, what would those 3 songs be?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Can I pull up my playlist? Because I'm bad with titles.
Absolutely.
I actually have it right here. This is so funny. Okay. So, oh gosh. Um, a lot of Tommy Prophet. Okay. So 3 songs. It would be Tommy Prophet and Flurry, and the song title is Breathe. And then it would be Heart of Courage by Two Steps from Hell.
Ooh,
And it would also be, oh gosh, only 3? Okay, hold on.
I know it's
Um,
tough. You probably got some heavy hitters in that playlist.
yeah, okay, oh man. Okay, so I'm gonna add 2 more just because I'm naughty. It would also be Tommy Prophet and Brooke as the vocalist, Can't Help Falling in Love. It's a new rendition. And
Ooh.
then Tommy Prophet and Jesse Early, Will I Make It Out Alive? Those are my 4.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
this episode is not sponsored by Tommy Profit, but go, go listen.
Obsessed, I told you.
You're like, okay, I'm gonna add one, but otherwise the 3 are gonna be Tommy Profit.
Yes. Yeah.
But honestly, listen, as a media, movie, TV, music
Hmm.
girly, like if something gets recommended to me enough, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go check it out. So watch out, Apple Music. I'm scared to open my Apple Rewind or my recap because
Oh
I don't have
yeah.
Spotify Premium. I don't have Spotify Wrapped.
Hmm.
So I have Apple Music Wrapped, and I just know there are gonna be some cursed songs from my writing playlist or like all the music I would listen to like try and take a nap or something.
Yeah.
The
So
real
funny.
the real kicker, totally off topic, but the real kicker is going to be this will be 10 years. If the Glee cast has made my top 5 artists, this will be year number 10 in a row that they have made my top 5. Glee
That's so
ended
funny.
Glee ended 10 years
So
ago.
long ago. Oh yeah.
I'm so nervous. Y'all, if you're listening right now, the verdict's probably out. I probably have caved and listened to it or looked at my recap, but hedge your bets now. Is Gleecast in my Apple Rewind? Oh, I'm so nervous.
We need
Okay,
an intervention.
no kidding. Speaking of 10 years, you
Yeah.
are about to celebrate your 10-year anniversary.
Yeah.
That's insane.
It is. Yeah. So I have been writing for 10 years, which feels so wild to me. And at the same time, it's very interesting because I never thought that I would be a writer. That was not on my bingo card for my life, but I grew up very creative. I was a theater nerd. I was an award-winning thespian all throughout high school. And yeah, I was like, yes, love it.
Yes.
And so good, so much fun. And I also wanted to be a fashion designer. So I had a lot of creative endeavors to pursue, but I grew up in a family that we were not very privileged, grew up relatively poor until like my late teen years. And then through that, my parents really instilled in me financial stability. So that's why I pursued clinical psychology. And I was in graduate school for like from my first master's till the end of residency for a total of 12 years. Do not recommend being in graduate school for that long. It sucked the life out of me. But I turned to writing when I started falling in love with reading again. And I felt like I had stories to tell. It was like this very kind of magical experience where I just had this feeling that I needed to write. And I had never done that before. I'd never even kept a journal before. But then once I started with that first book, I literally have not stopped since. And it when I am not writing, I do not feel like myself. Like I just took about a month off because we had some family things and friend things where a lot of people were needing us to kind of rally around them. And I felt so wonky. And I'm sure you can relate to. You took a November off where it just feels like something isn't quite right. And I love it. It's what I'm supposed to do. I know that 100%.
I love that. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like the real testament of like no matter what degree of like quote unquote success, I feel like
Hmm.
real writers, real authors, like they could be doing 1,000 other things, and yet writing is like the thing that they always come home to. It
Yeah.
anchors them. Like it's truly like a core sense of purpose. And I
Hmm.
love that that's how you feel
Yeah.
with everything that you write. I'm curious, in the 10 years that you've been writing and that you've been authoring, what would you say are some of like your like most monumental moments? And again, that doesn't have to be
Hmm.
by like an objective standard, but like
Yeah.
in your heart, what are some of the most monumental moments that you've experienced in
Hmm.
10 years of writing?
Yeah. So I would say the first one that comes to mind was after I published my first small town romance called If I Asked You to Stay. And I had, from like my first trilogy, really started to take it a lot more, publishing a lot more seriously. I knew at that time that I really wanted it to become my full time job. And I was very desperate to leave psychology, just for mental health reasons. And so I put a lot behind the release for If I Asked You to Stay. And based on a lot of advice from YouTubers and other authors and all that kind of stuff, I thought that I did everything right. And it flopped so hard. I was so bad at marketing. I had no idea what hooks were. I had no idea how to draw my audience in. And I was devastated. So I, at that time, threw a grown up sized temper tantrum and was like, I'm never writing again. This is so terrible. I felt really vulnerable. And I felt like, how am I supposed to pursue this passion and be financially stable? Because that was the messaging I received throughout my entire life with everything my parents had gone through. And so it took a lot of encouragement from my husband and from two of my closest friends, Anna and Stephanie. I mean, the endless voice memos back and forth of just me crashing out were insane. But thankfully, they held me up during that time. And so I wrote the second book called If You Loved Me, and it took off. And I started on TikTok. I figured out how to market. I really studied the business side of the craft, and especially if you are a self-published author, but even in trad, because not every trad deal gives you this huge marketing budget. And so you need to know how to find your readership. And once I started learning a lot more about that, yeah, I found my audience. And that to me was such a pivotal moment when I released If You Loved Me. And then after that, When You Saved Me, um, yeah, those books were life changing for me. They helped me become a full-time author. Um, and now I'm here. So I would say that was really monumental. And then I think the second one would be overcoming my own insecurities and writing and publishing fantasy romance. Like I said before, I had a total conniption over it. And I felt like I was not good enough. And to be quite frank, I wasn't good enough. Like I really needed to hone my craft to figure out story development, and I read a lot of craft books to get to where I needed to be, because you have to create a whole world, a magic system,
Oh yeah.
creatures, like it's a completely different ball game. And so when I published Of the Stars and Sea, and then the success that followed after that, I was like, holy shit, I did it. Like I did this thing that I was terrified to do for the past 9 years.
Yeah.
So that was amazing.
That's incredible. What would you say, just because if I'm nosy about it, I know our I know our listeners are going
Yeah.
to be nosy about it. Um, where and what kind of tools um
Mhm.
did you utilize, after that adult temper tantrum, to like really study like the business side of
Yeah.
self-publishing? Because I think a lot of us, we don't want to admit to ourselves that there is like a business behind it. You just want to like
Yes.
write and create the books and then
Yeah.
publish it and then hope that people find
Hmm.
it organically. But what did you seek out, and what do you think really helped you master that side of the self-publishing process?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think for me, it was joining a lot of, Facebook author groups and learning from them. So there's one that's called 20 Books to 50K. There's another group that is called TikTok and Instagram for Authors. It's run by this man named Bobby. He's a genius. And so I started joining groups. I also started really looking after and emulating other authors who were successful in social media, because at that time I did not have a budget to put into any type of advertising or marketing, which is what I ended up doing with Of the Stars and Sea. So for the small town romances, I figured out what hooks were. And I think one of the biggest pieces of advice that I can give is, yes, sex sells. And there's a lot of people, I'm sure, who probably listen to this podcast who are interested in spicy romance. And there are some books that sell really well that way. But the best way to sell a book is by tapping into people's emotional experience. So, for example, Of the Stars and Sea, I always tagline it Pirates of the Caribbean meets the Mummy. If you are a millennial girly nostalgic for those feelings that you got while or watching those movies, you will experience a similar thing. And so, finding good comps that will help people understand what they're going to feel when they read your work, I think is the biggest piece of advice that I can give whenever it comes to marketing. Um, I think another thing is finding ARC readers who love your book. And my ARC team for Of the Stars and Sea was 1,200 people. And I actually got this piece of advice from Elise Kova. She said, give your book to as many people who will read it. And the best word of mouth is from readers. Like, we're authors, we're trying to sell a product. That's the reality of our job. And readers can only trust us so much because we have an agenda. But if another reader tells them, girl, you got to read this book, just like you did with me earlier in this episode, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go read that book because you're a reader and you told me to go read it. And I trust what you're telling me to do. And so I think those two things, having a really strong ARC team around you and then finding out your emotional pool to get readers engaged.
That's so insightful. And I think that's going to help a lot of people, myself included. Um, because again, like the marketing side of things, like business wise, I think people just need to like learn it and it's easier
Hmm.
applied. Whereas I think marketing, like especially on social media, like so many
Yeah.
trends are shifting, but the fact
Yeah.
that there's the concrete idea of like emotional pull and
Yes.
resonancy, like that is what
Hmm.
is evergreen. I think that
Yeah.
is so awesome, especially with what you were saying about like you just didn't have the budget for like the past books,
Yeah.
and so you had to do it organically and with
Hmm.
whatever tools and faculties you had on hand.
Yep.
Now, Of the Stars and Sea, on the other hand, one of the big things, just marketing, but also like really cool opportunity wise, I see that
Yeah.
you're going to Romantasy Book Con in
Yes,
Orlando. That's October of next year, right?
it is.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Are you just like ecstatic? I went to my first like big romantasy like convention this year, and
Hmm.
I don't think I think it's more than half as big, but like
Hmm.
Fantasy Book Con's like the big guns. Like how
It's
excited are
huge.
you for that?
Yeah, so I actually just got back from my first Romanticon, this past October. I got invited last minute as a filler author because the girl who puts it on, Natalie, she's amazing, and she knew that I was a local author and could probably like zip over there pretty quickly. So I got to go this year, and I have to tell you, I have never been to such a wholesome convention before. And I mean that, like, even though there's, penises and artwork all around us and like all of that fun stuff, the vibes were immaculate, you guys. Like, I cannot even explain to you. It felt just like this incredible community coming together, and everybody was so happy to be there. The people who were in cosplay, which was probably, I'd say, at least a third of the entire group, were in cosplay, and it was just amazing. And I'm so excited to go back next year. I Yeah, I'm so excited to be part of this community. I think that there's something really special about fantasy romance readers and how they are just so fierce and they really rally around the authors that they love. And hopefully I'll become one of those big authors that people rally around, and I already have such a great readership. But yeah, it really is such a great community, and that con specifically is, I if you can go, you have to go. Like, you have to. It's so good.
I love that. No, I've one of my goals for the new year is to go like just as an attendee, even not as like
Yeah.
an author or a vendor. Like I just want to get my little teacher box cart,
Yes.
go down aisle by aisle, meet people, say hi, have them autograph my shirt. Like it's genuinely this might show my age, but I used to love like Polly Pocket, and
Yes.
there was a movie like called like Polly World.
Hmm.
Genuinely, like I wish it were a real place. That is what going to a like romance book convention feels
Yes.
like. Romantasy romance, as long as there is romance in the book,
Yes.
those type of conventions, it feels like going to Polly World.
Hmm.
And I want to attend more of them this coming
It's
year. I would
magical.
do anything. I don't care if I drive or fly or hitchhike. I need to go again. Um, but I was looking at like some of the authors, like the lineup
Hmm.
for Romantasy BookCon, and I was like, oh, let me just clear
Yeah.
my schedule and go ahead and put my PTO in. I'm trying
Yeah.
to go and see you and see everybody else. Um, but back to what you were saying about like, oh, like I hope I get to be like one of those big authors. Something tells me you're already on your way. Um, we may or may not have an exclusive development, you guys. Brianna,
Yeah.
do you want to tell the people what's going on?
Yeah. So I feel like I'll just blurt it out and then we'll backtrack and talk about the journey. So I got a deal with Penguin Random House, you guys.
Please know on the other line,
Jazz
I'm
hands.
like screaming, but I can't scream because then the mic will like squeal. I'm
Yes.
saving your ears, you guys, but yeah, absolutely losing my marbles over this one. You Penguin Random House.
I
Hello?
know. Yes. Yeah. It's crazy. And oh my gosh, there's like a really emotional story that I feel like if I don't tell, it would be doing the experience an injustice. So, like, I definitely want to get to that and just remind me it has to do with my father-in-law. But yeah, so backing up just a moment, I've always wanted to be traditionally published. I have felt like that was definitely in the cards for me at some point. When I was early on, I really battled with whether or not I wanted to query or traditionally publish. And so I decided to, or I'm sorry, self publish. I decided to self publish initially because I think at that time in my life, it just made the most sense. I was looking for a quick exit from my life at that time, and traditional publishing typically takes up to years to get through the process. So I published Of the Stars and Sea. I was heavily marketing it. I had a huge marketing budget and I got scouted by my agent, Katie. She is amazing. She's such a shark in like the best way. She's so like vicious for her authors. And I love that about her. We actually call her the mother of dragons.
Yes.
And like our little author circle, it's so fun. And she reached out to me. At first I was like, this is fake. There's no way
Oh
that like
yeah.
someone scouted. Yeah. And then she literally sent me a DM. She said, I promise I'm not scamming you. Here's my official email. Send me your manuscript. Because I was super suspicious. And so I did. And she fell in love with it. She gave me like the most incredible compliment, which I won't say out loud, but because she, I'm so glad that I was with her. And I was actually in the query trenches for Of the Stars and Sea as well. So I had
Mm.
self-published it and then I went back and queried, which is something that you can do nowadays. A lot of agents will actually take previously self-published materials. And when she reached out to me and we had our offer meeting, I knew it right off the bat. And I still had like 40 queries out. And I was like, sorry, guys, bye. Like, this is
Yeah.
my girl. And so from there, we went on submission really quickly. We didn't have any edits for the manuscript. And so what we did is we worked on marketing and making sure that the book was like having its moment and having a splash, which I was already doing. And then we were on submission. And from there, everything happened really quickly. There were a lot of houses that were interested. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And we ended up with Penguin. And I'm so glad that we did because it's like the perfect marriage. it's, I'm really, really happy where I landed.
I love that. So, did your book go to auction? Like, were they?
It's hard to explain. There was a bidding war. But something that happens is like if there are multiple houses interested, but some houses are moving a lot faster than others in terms of the timeline, then the other houses, they either have to catch up or they don't really get an opportunity. So, yes, there was a bidding war and then it went into preempt.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah. So it was really intense. I was like pulling my hair out for 2 weeks straight, and Katie just had to like pacify me and calm me down because I
Oh
was
yeah.
like, oh my God, this is so scary and so nerve-wracking. And this is also my baby, my most
Yeah.
beloved book, and I'm about to sell the rights to it and trust a team of people I don't know
That
to
they're
like
gonna take
deliver
care
it.
of it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And I do trust the team that I'm with. I feel very, very fortunate in where it ended up. So, yay.
Good. Oh, that's so, so exciting because I know a lot of
Yeah.
self-published authors out there, like that's kind of their pipe dream.
Yes.
So I am curious, does this mean that since you've sold that book,
Hmm.
does that technically mean that you're a hybrid author now, or are you
Hmm.
like from like depending on the terms of your contract, which you don't have to get in the nitty-gritty of, like,
Yeah.
are you lined up to do other
Hmm.
traditional releases? How does that look for you?
Yes. So I am technically hybrid in that my previous series were not acquired by Penguin, which is very normal when you have like a completed series, unless those were like mega, mega successful as
Yeah.
well. Which mine were really great. Like I said, they helped me get full time, but they didn't splash as big as Of the Stars and Sea did. And so, with that being said, in terms of contract moving forward, this is very typical. It's not a surprise for anyone in the industry, but usually when you sell your rights, you give your publisher what's called options, which means that they have essentially first a look at whatever you write next. And usually they narrow it down to like a certain category. So for me, that encompasses both fantasy and romance. If I wanted to go back over to contemporary, which I do have some projects I'm excited for in that realm again as well. And so moving forward, the goal is to stay traditionally published.
Mhm.
So I have one more indie release that I'll be doing with my Pebblebrook Falls series. And then after that, the hope is that everything will be traditional after this. So that's kind of how that works. Yeah.
I love that. And especially because those other books like helped you go full time, now you get
Hmm.
that kind of breathable room with the
Yes.
trad process to fully flesh out everything
Yeah.
else that you have coming next, which I mean,
Hmm.
that's so incredible. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thank you.
stars. Oh
It's
my stars
crazy.
and sea.
That was amazing.
I had to try it.
Love it.
Okay, so I'm reminding you now, something about your father-in-law. There's a story behind all
Hmm.
of this. If you feel comfortable telling it, we
Yeah.
would love to hear it.
Absolutely. So my father-in-law and I were very close, and he had told me the story of when him and all of his siblings went to see the March of the Penguins, which is like this documentary film, and they had walked out of the theater and they were just complaining about how much they hated it, which is really funny. And as a joke between him and all of his siblings, he would like, they would get each other penguins for Christmas each year, like little figurines and stuff like that. And so he became kind of obsessed with penguins during Christmas time. And he unexpectedly passed away in 2021. It was very, very traumatizing for my husband and I. He had no health problems. It was very, very sudden. And so, in the midst of like the bidding war and all the things that were going on with the publishing deal, I was having a really hard time figuring out like which path would be best for myself and for my book. And as soon as Penguin came into the picture, there was just this feeling of like, this feels like my father in law. And like, I honestly, Penguin was not even on my radar in terms of like, for me, they're on such a pedestal. I mean, they've
Yeah.
published some of the most incredible titles ever. Um, And like the books that my book is going to be with for the imprint is like, I'm like, what? Wait, my book is going to be with you guys? Like, what do you mean?
Heck yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's just like beyond. And so it felt so serendipitous and it felt like it was his way of kind of guiding me during that very stressful time of like, okay, Penguin is in the picture, everything aligned. Also, my editor's middle name is or name is my middle name. And so there were like so many little things that just felt like signs. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so yeah, it felt very special and very yeah, very magical to have that connection. So yeah.
So sweet. It's so many
Yeah.
instances of the invisible string theory, I feel like.
100%. Yep.
That's
Yep.
so awesome. Oh my gosh. You're out here living everybody's dream, living my dream. Good for you. I
Thank you.
honestly, this book absolutely deserves all of the flowers that it's going to get,
Thank you.
all of the hype. I am so thrilled for you. Um, what a fun little early Christmas gift to yourself and your
100%.
readers. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Closing out 2025 on such a high.
Such a bang, a huge one. Yeah, it's amazing. I feel very, very lucky. And also just like I want to note that I think it's so important to validate the work that we put in as authors. Like we created this thing, we, poured our hearts into the work that we created. And it's also a marriage with the readers. So I've had so many readers who have just shouted about this book, cried over this book, and have supported me in such a profound way. And so, yes, I did the hard work to get here. And I think it's important for all creators to acknowledge the work that they put in. And without my readers, this would not be possible. It literally would not be possible. So I just want to thank everybody who's given this book a shot because you've helped make my dreams come true. Yay.
Hey, immediately when you were like, you make my dreams come true, I'm like, oh, the Hall and Oates song is playing in my head.
Yep.
You make my dream come true. Oh my God. Oh, that's actually like a perfect way to end the episode. I am so thankful and so fortunate to have had you come on the pod. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. What I like to do with my guests, though, to end the episode, I know you've given tons of advice, so many nuggets of wisdom, but if you have any parting words, any last minute words of advice that you want to leave our listeners with,
Yeah.
take it away.
Yeah, so I would say as a creator, it can be very noisy sometimes when we get wrapped up in the midst of what everybody else around you is doing, how everybody else around you is succeeding. And so if you have to shut the doors on that noise for your like well-being and your creative process, I give you permission to do that. And in fact, you should do that. And so let's stop with the comparison game. There's room for everybody here, including you, and just write the book that your heart is meant to tell. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Beautifully said. I'm going to have to play that to myself every single morning. Because
Myself too.
listen, yeah, I'm like, listen, you may be the star of this episode and I may be hosting this podcast, but believe me, we have moments of imposter syndrome. We
Yep.
have moments of self-doubt and, thinking that there's no room for me or like there's no way I deserve this success
Yeah.
or what am I even doing with writing or is this book
Hmm.
going to do anything? It doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah.
take the time, especially with this being the end of the year, when we're recording this, like just take the time to close out the year on, if not a high note, on just a
Hmm.
peaceful, resolute note. You owe it to yourself. You've been working like a machine.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
yeah, I love that. And I think our listeners are gonna really take that to heart. That was so moving.
Thanks.
I give you permission. I was like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I practice that a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's the inner therapist coming out. So, that helps every once in a while.
True. Yeah. Okay, you guys, thank you so much for listening or watching today's episode, wherever you're streaming this episode. You guys are the best. My many thanks to Brianna Remus again for coming on today's episode. Tell the listeners where they can find you, find your books, all that good
Yeah.
stuff.
Awesome. So all of my tags online are at author Brianna Remus on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere there is to find me. And you can visit my website for signed copies of my books. It's just briannaremus.com. And that's, yeah, where I like to hang out. Usually is on Instagram. So give me a follow over there.
Love it. Thank you again for being on today's episode. Thank you guys again for watching. And until next time, I'll see you in the next one.